where uniform civil code forms part of the directive principles of state policy. What do you mean by uniform civil code? I'll tell you in very simple terms for others to understand. There's a criminal law, there's a civil law. Suppose a Hindu kills someone and a Muslim kills someone. Will the punishment be different? Suppose if the rapist is Hindu or Muslim or Sikh or Christian, will the punishment be different? Certainly not. Am I right? So ultimately, the criminal law is common for every citizen. Whether it is a murder, rape, or molestation, atrocity, theft, burglary, attacking someone, injuring someone, accident, deliberate accident, well, not accidental, but deliberately hitting someone. So all these are corruption. Well, there is only one law. Independent of your religion, the punishment will remain the same. And there is civil law. Civil law relates to marriage, divorce, maintenance, post-divorce, adoption, the custody of child. So these are all elements of civil law. These civil practices, marriage, adoption, except divorce, are related to culture of that religion to a great extent. For example, if somebody marries a maternal, if a girl marries a maternal uncle, mother's brother, it is an acceptable social practice in Andhra region. But marrying a maternal uncle is an unacceptable social practice in Telangana region. So in the two Telugu regions, you have a different practices. So therefore, civil law is intimately related to religion, civil practices, tradition, culture. But over a period of time, many aspects of civil law have also become uniform. For example, Domestic Violence Act. It doesn't differentiate between a Hindu woman or a Muslim woman facing domestic violence. For example, prevention of sexual atrocities. It doesn't differentiate between a Hindu or Muslim. So over a period of time, many of these civil practices are made uniform through the Supreme Court judgments, through laws, in a piecemeal manner. So the demand for uniform civil code is to make all these civil laws uniform across religions, traditions, cultures. But the problem is there is a very strong resistance to it. Not just from the religion point of view. So for example, there are several practices in the Northeast which may not be there in the other part of the India. So there is a resistance because this is linked to religion, this is linked to tradition, this is linked to culture. In a matriarchal society, women have certain rights. In a patriarchal society, women do not have such rights. So people don't so easily accept a civil practice. So therefore, the Constitution of India included uniform civil code in the directive principles of state policy instead of making it a fundamental right. So problem with the directive principles of state policies, it cannot be enforced through law. You cannot go to a court and say that the directive principle is not implemented. But if it is a fundamental right, if it is not enforced, you can go to a court. So therefore, uniform civil code remain as an ideal of the Constitution. So there is a demand to make it a reality. So there is no difference of opinion on the need to ensure uniform civil code. There is no difference of opinion. Any religion should we should accept should obey, should respect human rights. But the problem is, how do you implement it? How do you implement it is a big issue. Now, for example, Supreme Court declared triple talaq illegal, unconstitutional. Subsequently, the government made a law making it a criminal act. What is happening today? There are a number of instances where Muslim women are simply abandoned. They don't know talaq is said, nothing. They are simply abandoned. So if we say talaq, then it will attract legal procedures because it is unconstitutional. So the Muslim man does not say talaq 3 times, but does not accept the woman as wife. Can any court force human relations? It's extremely difficult. So therefore, the argument is, for example, child marriages are banned by law. How many girls are married below the marriage age, legally acceptable marriage age today? So you may bring laws on civil issues, but extremely difficult to implement. Assume that if you bring a law that every man should discuss with his wife on key family issues, like education of the children, marriage of the children, construction of an house, acquiring property, assuming that you make a law to ensure women's equality. Can you ensure it? Can you ensure its implementation? Tomorrow, what will happen? Many men, even before the marriage itself, they will take a signature on plain paper from the prospective wife, so that their fellow will use this blank papers with signatures tomorrow to ensure that he is adhering to the law. Ultimately, these are things which have to be ensured through education, through awareness, through social reform, through modernization. Of course, with a certain element of law. I'm not telling law should not be there. There should be law. We have a law against dowry. That doesn't mean the dowry practice is eradicated. We have a law against child marriages. That doesn't mean child marriage is not taking place. But assuming that there is no law, the situation would have been worse. So therefore, it should be a combination of a law and a social action to achieve uniform civil code. Law alone, and if it is a coercive law, it can result in strengthening fundamentalism, more resistance from the people. So we need to ensure modernization through education. And another important thing, uniform civil code doesn't mean making one religious code uniform code for others. That is not uniform civil code. Uniform civil code means drawing all the best all the best provisions of all religions and bring a uniform law, independent of the religion. So whichever practice is good for women, whichever practice is good for equality of men and women, then you take that. That is how you have to prepare a uniform civil code. In the present polarized political climate, the concern is uniform civil code cannot be touted as making one dominant religion or a majority religion code as a uniform code. That's not the practice. So majority or minority, if there's a good practice in a particular religion, use that as part of the uniform civil code. Then that is the true secular spirit. So uniform civil code does not go against secularism, but in fact, it furthers secularism. Secularism essentially means respecting the rights of the people to their religion, but the primacy of public interest prevails. So ultimately, the public interest should be above the religious rights, while we respect the religious rights. So religious rights should be respected. To what extent? Till it confronts human rights.